Welcome to the very first Homeless Services Navigation Center in the city of Los Angeles. This is a terrific, beautiful day here in North Hollywood, and it's a day that I've looked forward to for a very long time because this facility is going to be a real game changer in our continuing challenge in providing services and housing to our homeless brothers and sisters, and to helping our neighborhoods as well with grappling with all of the ramifications of homelessness. This facility is going to be a huge step forward in both of those areas. This is a facility that is going to provide storage for 120 bins of storage for items that homeless people have that need storage. And this is so important as they struggle to get off the streets, because whether they're looking for a job, looking to get education, taking their kids to school or whatever, they are at risk of losing everything they own every single time they do that. So to have secure storage is a open door to be able to provide them with services as well. When they come in here and provide storage, they'll also be met by people who can connect them with services. We also have hygiene facilities here, showers, toilets, so that again, when they come in here for services, they can be met by somebody who will connect them with a broader range of services as well. And over here we have an office facility where our counselors and social workers and housing navigators will be to be able to identify the needs of a particular homeless person who comes in here, and then direct them and lead them actually to the services that they need. Now, this facility is going to be operated by the absolutely incredible service organization for the San Fernando Valley, Hope of the Valley, which every day is changing the lives of homeless people, providing shelter, providing services, and I'm so proud that they're going to be our partner here in operating this facility. And that's especially important because within the next couple of months, in addition to this facility, we're also opening not one but 2 bridge home shelter facilities right here in the East San Fernando Valley that Hope of the Valley will also be operating. So now that's going to provide 189 beds of shelter space, almost room for almost 200 people to get out from under bridges, out from cars, out from bus shelters, and into shelter under a roof with a bed, with a bathroom, with a place to put their things, and with a place where they can interact with people who can help lift them up out of homelessness. That's what Hope of the Valley is going to be providing. So when anybody comes in through these gates, through these doors, yes, they'll get storage. Yes, they'll get hygiene. Yes, they'll have a conversation with a housing navigator and others. But they will be able to also have access to that shelter space that's going to be open, and then to more sustainable, permanent housing. Lives will be changed, and this is how we end homelessness in the city of Los Angeles. So I want to just thank everybody who has been responsible for making this project a reality. But there's no one that's been more important to this project and every single other thing that this city is doing about homelessness than our mayor. And I have to say, you know, a lot of times we hear, well, you know, you guys have been at this for a while and I still see homelessness. And I don't think people fully appreciate, because they don't see it every single day like I do. They don't see what goes on in City Hall and in our neighborhoods and in our city departments and in every city facility throughout. They don't see the kind of leadership that I see every single day. They don't realize the progress that we've made under this mayor. Here's one for you. Do you know that we've already housed more homeless people than were homeless when Mayor Garcetti took office? Which means that he would have already solved this problem had it not been for the societal factors that are bringing more people into homelessness every day. So we're continuing to tackle those. But in the meantime, please know that we are housing, I think, almost 150 people every single day. We're opening thousands of units of supportive housing, of shelter space, thanks to the leadership of this mayor. So I couldn't be more pleased to have his partnership in this project. But more importantly than that, I couldn't be more pleased to have a mayor who has the passion, the compassion, the urgency, and the leadership to take on the biggest challenge the city has faced probably in its recent history, and to take it on with effectiveness and with urgency and with a commitment to ending this problem once and for all. So I'm very pleased to welcome my friend, our mayor, Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Thank you, Paul. I hate homelessness, but I really love my job. I really do, even on the toughest days. And I love it because I get to work with an incredible group of folks that are on a mission to build the city of the future, to solve the problems of today, to get back to basics of delivering the services that people deserve. And even on my toughest days, I remember what an honor it is flying up earlier this week to see some of the largest solar arrays anywhere in the world that we have built so that we can combat climate change. When I flew up yesterday to represent the city at the State of the State address, when the governor asked me to join him and other local representatives as he devoted his entire speech to homelessness, which isn't a Los Angeles problem. It's a Modesto problem, and it's a Riverside problem, and a San Diego problem, and a Sacramento problem, and a Washington, D.C. problem, and a Glendale, Arizona problem, and all over this country. I met recently this week with a professor from the University of Pennsylvania, who's one of the great experts on homelessness. He said the latest survey of Americans shows that 8% of Americans will be homeless sometime in their lifetime. And if you're African American, it goes into double digits. About twice that. That is a reflection of something wrong in America. But you don't solve big problems by not having specific and neighborhood-based solutions. And I love my job because there are courageous leaders. Thank you for the praise, Paul. I wish my mom had been here for the introduction this morning. But working with Paul Krekorian, I've seen the face of courage in his eyes and in the actions of his staff, who really deserve the bulk of our praise here today. Because it's very easy as political leaders to say, I won't do anything except point a finger. Because there's always somebody who is fearful. When that thing gets built, it's going to get worse. Those people are going to be here. We've all had traumatic interactions on the streets with the trauma that lives on our streets. But when you put together somebody who knows that sometimes the things that people will look back on and say that they are happiest you did are the ones in the short term that they are angriest about, that describes the leadership in Council District 2, not just with this being the first navigation center. But I sat down with the council member, and I got to tell you, I can relate the excitement when he pulled the surplus property list of his district and said, why not here and here and here and here? And 4 or 5 years ago, this would not have been an issue that other departments owned. In fact, the city of Los Angeles has almost no jurisdiction on the issue of homelessness, on the causes in or cures out. All we've got is policing and sanitation. And our police officers and our sanitation workers do incredible work, but they would be the first to say those aren't solutions to homelessness. So then Marty Adams, who owns the land on behalf of the people of Los Angeles, not personally, of course, said, yeah, this is DWP property, but if we can put nurseries on it, why can't we put a nursery that will bring back hope to people in their lives? To Tony Royster, who leads our General Services Department, to do the actual hard work. And Gary Lee Moore, who said, let me take this on, and this will be my mission, to do bridge homes and to do these navigation centers. And the people of Los Angeles, who gave us the money to do this through HHH. This is our second facility through HHH, our third if you count housing, although there's some other housing open, but we haven't done the official openings. There will be every 2 to 3 weeks an opening in Los Angeles for the next few years. That's a pace unlike any in America, and Los Angeles is doing more than any city in the United States when it comes to homelessness. But nobody's doing enough. And that's why we're going to keep pushing this forward. And we have a great commission. Our commission chair, Sarah Dussault of our Homeless Services Authority, found the right people. And I want to thank Hope of the Valley Rescue Mission, because I've seen up close what they do. I've seen how they touch souls. I've seen how they transform lives. And to have the network of this Nav Center and 2 bridge homes and then housing navigators, we've got the full package of somebody who might just come here to store things. And storage is more than just storage. By the way, think about storage for all of us. Those pictures that mean the very most to you in life. Your ID, so that when you do something basic like apply for benefits, as a veteran, as a senior, as somebody with a disability, or go for a job interview, You have a name. We were yesterday, 2 groundbreakings in CD15 for Bridge Home facilities with Councilmember Buscaino, and from the one that already opened up across from Imperial Courts near Watts, there was a man who said he learned when he came into a Bridge Home shelter what his real name was. Because when he went to finally apply for his benefits, he died on the operating table with heart surgery recently, was brought back to life. He said it was a miracle. And then they went to get the benefits, and he realized that he had never known his real last name until a team of folks found out that it was Kelvin Bryant. These are transformative spaces and places where people can take a shower and feel like a human being, where they can talk to someone and start planning their route out of homelessness, where they can store their things so they can make that doctor's appointment. When we say, gosh, those people should just get off the streets, put yourself on the streets for a moment, like Kelvin was describing yesterday. As he said, living off of potato chips, it gave him a heart attack, not even knowing what his real name was, no teeth. And you try to navigate your way by yourself off the street, it's a near impossible task. And we have left people too long out there. So we've let them be more traumatized and re-traumatized and re-traumatized. We are on our way home, folks. But we have to keep pressing the accelerator. More supportive housing in the last 3 years than in the last 30. 2,000 beds where there were 0 just a year and a half ago at our Bridge Home facilities by July 1st, and a few more on tap after that. We keep pushing Washington, and I've de-weaponized this. I don't care if it's the president, the governor, my best friend, my worst enemy. If they're willing to work with me on homelessness, it is their responsibility, and I will sit down with them to get those dollars that we produce through our hard labor back here to solve this, the most pressing problem. So thank you, Councilmember Krekorian. Thank you to the entire team that has made this happen. Thank you to long after we're gone, the cameras are gone, to the folks that will administer the help. It really is God's work. I've seen it in the eyes of a police officer when they engage with somebody. I've seen it in a sanitation worker from a Care Plus team who says, hey, there's a better way. And to everybody who's still unhoused, I would just say this. This is not your destiny. Today where you are is not your destiny. Your destiny is coming. Y también brevemente en español, quiero dar mis gracias a este líder increíble, concejal Krekorian, y su equipo, y los líderes de los departamentos en Los Ángeles, es de propiedad del Departamento de Electricidad y Agua, toda la gente que están aquí, porque este centro de navegación es un modelo de ayuda, un modelo de esperanza, un modelo a parar la indigencia en Los Ángeles. Esta es la primera, pero hay 2 más en otras partes de la ciudad y hay miles de unidades de vivienda, miles de camas nuevas, finalmente a tener un sistema a parar esta crisis. Y cada día, en cada vecindario de nuestra ciudad, estamos haciendo a finalmente tener un día cuando no hay gente en las calles de Los Ángeles. Me gusta mi trabajo mucho como su alcalde, pero es una tragedia que estamos en capital de la indigencia en los Estados Unidos y con la visión de la gente finalmente nosotros ganaremos esta lucha. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Garcetti. Thanks for your leadership. And I am especially pleased to be able to recognize today, as I mentioned, our service provider partner that will be operating this facility and operating our Bridge Home facilities as well. So as soon as this plane passes by, it will be my pleasure to invite up to the podium, representing Hope of the Valley, Lori Kraft, who's been just a visionary in trying to get this project done through unbelievable challenges. Lori has pressed and pressed and pressed along with us, and I couldn't be more pleased that she'll be leading the effort as we move forward. Lori?
Thank you very much, Councilman. This is such an exciting day, and I am incredibly honored to be here today. Thank you, Mayor Garcetti, to both of you for your tireless efforts in working toward ending the homelessness crisis that we have in the city of Los Angeles and in CD2 as well. Those who know me know that I am incredibly passionate about navigation centers such as this. I believe so much in their value and in what they do. Over the years, I've had people tell me that this isn't a solution. This isn't a solution, that the problem is much bigger than this, that this is just a Band-Aid. And my response is always the same. Band-Aids serve a purpose, and a big one at that. Band-Aids facilitate and promote healing. They prevent things from getting worse. We all know that we need more housing, and as was just mentioned, housing is in process. It's happening. We're doing it, right? Navigation centers are entry points into the system. They're a place for people to begin to heal, a place where we can prevent an individual's housing crisis from getting worse. Working at our Help Center for the past several years, I've seen firsthand transformations that are literally unbelievable. People that had been living on the streets, chronically homeless for many, many years, that are now productive individuals and part of our community, that even come back to our center to volunteer and help us out. This navigation center is going to be a place where people will be welcomed and treated with the dignity and respect that they so deserve. They will be guided through the system when living on our streets is sometimes, as our mayor mentioned, overwhelming and seems like an insurmountable task. This center is going to be a gateway of hope, healing, transformation, empowerment, and the beginning of a better tomorrow for many, many people. As has been reiterated today, the fight to end homelessness in Los Angeles is no small task. And I love the Chinese proverb that says, to get through the hardest journey, we need take only one step at a time, but we must keep stepping. This navigation center is yet another giant step in the right direction, the direction toward ending homelessness in Los Angeles and in CD2. I am so incredibly honored to be a part of it. Thank you for entrusting this beautiful center to Hope of the Valley.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for what you and Ken do every single day with the rest of the team at Hope of the Valley. So one of the challenges that we have here in the San Fernando Valley and throughout Los Angeles in providing housing, providing services for the homeless community is the fact that we are a very built-out city. And this San Fernando Valley is not the San Fernando Valley that I grew up in, where there were lots of empty lots that you can play in. We are a built city. And so finding space is a perpetual challenge. And I was so pleased that we were able to identify this space, which is owned by the Department of Water and Power, which has been a day labor center in the past and will be again. That building over there is devoted to the day labor center, and they'll be opening up here again so that our homeless clients who come in here might also be able to provide or get an opportunity to work for that day as well. So it really is a win-win solution. But getting this facility and getting through the process of the Department of Water and Power to be able to utilize this facility has been a tremendous challenge. But it really became an achievable challenge because of the leadership of the general manager of the Department of Water and Power, Marty Adams, who has really brought a change in view to the Department of Water and Power. For years and years, anything that belonged to DWP was pretty much off limits to anybody else. And Marty sees that the DWP is a part of our city, a part of our family, and wants to be a part of the solution as well. So I couldn't be more pleased to thank and recognize the General Manager of the Department of Water and Power, Marty Adams.
Well, I didn't quite get the same introduction the mayor got, but it's okay. So. No, it's really an honor to be here and to represent the department. You know, infrastructure is so critical to the needs of the city, and this is a critical corridor. But between the infrastructure and the air overhead and what's under our feet underground, the water and power infrastructure that really moves Los Angeles. The question is, why can we not do more with the land that's sandwiched in between? And so when Mayor Garcetti and Councilman Krekorian said, what about this spot? What about that spot? We said we really need to think differently about the land that we have and how we can really get the most for the city out of it, as well as provide for our water and power needs. And so it's really been a great partnership to get into this this kind of project, and working with Gary and Tony, who actually built this facility and have done a wonderful job. And if you look at the rest of the property we have on both sides, this is a fantastic improvement. And so this actually brings up the neighborhood. So providing facilities like this actually improve the overall area of this part of the city and improve us in what we're doing in our mission to provide for the needs of the city for both water and power. So we're looking for great opportunities in the future to do more projects like this and to really make the most use of our land for the public, and make sure that that we're more than just water and power providers, but also help with all the space needs of the city and the open space opportunities. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Marty. Now, the fact that this is DWP land provides some special challenges. We have over us transmission lines. We have underneath us water mains and other other infrastructure like that needs to be taken into account when you're building something like this. And it presents a lot of design and engineering challenges. But so does every other construction project we do in the city of Los Angeles. If we're going to invest in infrastructure, we have to have the wherewithal to be able to solve problems. And there is no better person at solving problems like that than the chief engineer of our city, the general manager of our Bureau of Engineering, Gary Lee Moore. Gary, thank you for all that you've done to make this a reality.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. Good morning. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I just want to echo my appreciation to the mayor's leadership. His passion to solve homelessness is, there's nobody I'd want to work for more than you, sir. You're just incredible I see it day in and day out. Councilman Krekorian, you said build it. You said, I'll find you the home. I'll find you the spot. And working with Marty, here we are. And as you said, Councilman, there was challenges here. There's a height limit. We couldn't go above 14 feet. So we said, how are we going to do this faster? We said, let's build it with modular buildings. And we did. We used modular buildings. So we wanted this facility to open as soon as possible. The other thing is, many people, as we just heard, this is the first time they're coming back into introduction into housing. This site is the most sustainable site you're standing on. Everything, these are permeable pavers, permeable asphalt, everything here, all the stormwater is captured. There's 4 planters that it goes into, all drought tolerant landscaping. So everything here is about a sustainable nature, because I can't think of a more important place to start sustainability, reimagining and having people start their journey home. And that's what sustainability is all about, is renewing. So we're just so proud to be part of this process. And I just want to thank once again the mayor and the councilman for their leadership and the partnership we have with Tony and his team. And finally, I want to just thank 2 people from my office that are here today. Our Chief Deputy City Engineer, Deborah Weintraub, who's right back there. Thank you, Deborah. And finally, somebody was out here making sure that our design was implemented exactly how we envisioned, and was out here every day, and Wendy Delgado. Thank you. Raise your hand, Wendy. We want to thank you. Councilman, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Gary. So now we have a plan, we have a provider, we have land, and we have a design. Great. Somebody needs to make that real. Somebody needs to make all of those good intentions a good reality. And the person who does that day in and day out with projects throughout this city, homelessness and otherwise, is the general manager of our General Services Department, Tony Royster, who really had to maybe not quite move mountains, but move a heck of a lot to make sure that we got steel in the ground and we got these structures up quickly and up on budget. So it's a great pleasure to recognize Tony Royster. Tony? Thank you very much, Tony.
It's indeed a great pleasure and honor to be here. I'd like to first commend the mayor and also Councilmember Krekorian for their passion and for their leadership in making this navigation center happen. And also I'd like to express our appreciation to our partners, BOE. I'm very, very proud that Gary Lee Moore will allow us to be involved with this great program because we're great partners. We're almost like brothers, right? Amen. But also we have some staff here from GSD. We have Ron over here, and also we have Kenneth. Let's give them a hand. They're the project managers here for this project, and they really have a passion and a really desire and commitment to make sure this happens. And like I say, it's an honor for us to be a part of this. And again, to thank the mayor and the council member. For a couple of weeks, he gave me a call, so I knew it was important to make sure. So I got my shovel out, make sure I moved the mountain, and we're here today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you very much. Yeah, but Tony, it was a perfect call. It was a perfect call, just so everybody knows. There's no quid pro quo. It was a perfect call. So so the mayor mentioned in his comments that the city itself has a fairly narrow spectrum of responsibility in the challenge of homelessness. Working with the county, which has all of the responsibilities for health care and mental health and substance abuse issues and so many other things, it's a different jurisdiction, but we have to work collaboratively. And under this mayor, the city and the county are working better together than they ever have in my lifetimes, for sure. And one of the ways that we do that is through the Los Angeles Homeless Services Agency. And this helps us to collaborate, helps to deliver actual services to people who need them. And the mayor mentioned her before, but it's a great pleasure for me to thank and to welcome Sarah Dussault from the commission that oversees LASA. Sarah, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. It's so fun to be here today. I'm just here to offer a huge congratulations to the council member and to the mayor and to the community of North Hollywood for stepping up in such a big way to address this crisis of homelessness. It takes a lot of courage and tenacity to get these projects done, to raise your hand and move forward on them. And the council member is just been amazing at been amazing at this work, and it's, he was raising his hand very early on and remained committed to making this happen. And for us at LASA, that means everything, because without a navigation center, and I love the name of it, we can't navigate our clients to that North Star of housing. And so this is so important to us. At LASA, we've really are starting and turning a page on the crisis management approach. We've launched our Housing Central Command, and none of that is going to work without good data. And to my right, this is where we're going to get the data, the information behind those faces, and the information to be able to connect people both to housing, to jobs, to healthcare, to mental health care. And all of that, it has to happen at places like this, welcoming sites. I mean, I love every bit about this place. I want to be here. The opportunity for a shower, for a bath, all of those things are what people who are experiencing homelessness, people with lived experience that we rely on for information to do better, this is what they've been asking for. So this is such a huge opportunity here, and we're really grateful to be able to make these connections. We cannot do our work without the work that the city of Los Angeles is doing. And the city of Los Angeles, under the leadership of this mayor and his partners on the city council, have stepped up in such a huge way. There's an opening every other week or something like that. To be able to have those housing opportunities gives our outreach workers hope themselves. And I just want to also congratulate Hope of the Valley for winning this RFP, but also just for your leadership and providing the hope that you save lives. I mean, the reality is people are dying on these streets, and people like Hope of the Valley are out there saving lives every day. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Now, before we get to the main event, the cutting of the ribbon and the tours and so on, I do want to take just a moment of kind of personal privilege, and I can't see them because of the sun, but I want to invite my staff to come up and join me up here, please. Lorraine, I see Lorraine, Carl, Tom. I don't know if there's anybody else here, but but on Lorraine came with her scissors. Very good. I just, I was so, oh great, everybody's here, good. I can't thank these professionals enough for what they do, because again, this is the sort of thing that, people see this and they think, oh look, there's a new building there, that's it. And you have no idea of how much struggle this takes day to day, solving problems every single day, finding the money, finding the people who will answer the phone and say, okay, we can do that, finally after 20 times of being told no. That's what these professionals do every single day, and I can't thank each and every one of you enough. Thank you very much. Caro, Tom, Lorraine, Morgan, Jeff, congratulations and thank you. Okay. All right, so I think we are ready to, oh, I'm sorry, before we do that, were there any questions from the press for me or the mayor? Mayor, you want to join me? Write it down. Oh, Ken, do you mind? Lori, come on up.
The question is, do we have storage right now for those that are staying at the winter shelter? And the answer is no, we do not. And so that makes, oftentimes, people will not go to the winter shelter because of the fact that they don't want to leave some of their possessions behind. So again, this is part of the larger solution that people will be able to, if we don't have immediate housing or interim housing available, they can store stuff here and access crisis housing. Yeah, like the mayor said, I mean, this is really one of the most basic necessities. Where do you hold and place your valuables? And on the streets, oftentimes they get stolen, they get taken, they get moved. It's very difficult for people to even leave where they're staying. That's why oftentimes there are encampments, because they're trying to hold on to what little they have left. And the question is, do we have to try to convince people? Every day we try to convince people. It's always about convincing them that there is a better way, and that there are people that care, and that there are resources. But unfortunately, as the resources are getting in place, sometimes it takes time, and I think people can lose hope and get discouraged. But so part of our job is to make sure we have hope in the valley, thus Hope of the Valley. Well, the response, I mean, people are looking for hope, and so when we can present an opportunity like this will engage people, and this will ignite hope. This will let them know that not only does the city care, individuals care, the community cares, because it takes all of us working together to create something like this, and great leadership on the mayor's part and the councilman's part.
There are, depends how you count them. There's some that already exist. I mean, a Great Nav Center is actually run by Hope of the Valley already that they had on their own. But city funded from HHH, there's 3 right now. In construction. This was the first that'll open, so it's not vague plans. And many of the bridge home sites have essentially navigation centers at them as well. So next week, for instance, the Venice one, which got a lot of headlines when we had a town hall that was contentious, but very few follow-ups that it actually continued. We went on, and we're going to open next week. We're very excited. Has some of those elements. So 3 standalone, and the more state money that we get, the more federal money we get, the more navigation centers we can build. There's also more storage. You saw downtown, we just opened. We doubled the capacity in Skid Row, 1,000 new storage units just a couple weeks ago, and that was a result of state funding. The other 2 I had in my briefing paper. Can I see that real quick? But we're in 15. I knew it was in 15. Is it in like Watts area? The Harbor Police Station? And what's up? I should ask Meg. Thank you to the CAO's office who didn't get a thank you as well. Where's the second one?
Sorry, Meg.
And then South LA and on Manchester. Yeah, sure. Whoops, I think I think I just broke it. Here, hold
got
on.
it. I got it.
I
Don't
got
worry.
it.
I
now.
got you
It's
covered.
coming. It's coming down. I got it. Boom. Yes. Really good talks with, like I've said, this is the most improbable buddy movie if it was a car ride with Eric Garcetti and Ben Carson. But I've come to have a great relationship with the secretary. I am confident we will. And it's not us being coy or like wondering, well, will we actually make this deal? I'm confident we actually will. We are looking at the land that the federal government has given to us as possible places to build, as well as land outside the city for the county, which Catherine Barger and other supervisors are looking at. We need land, we need money, and we need some resources. All three are being offered, as well as potentially some FEMA trailers and things like that, similar to what our governor's done with the trailers that are popping up from the state. So I always say, when people think this is a partisan issue, you know, the Carson plan and the Newsom plan are the same. You know, this is not a Democratic or Republican thing. We need land, like we found here. We need the money to build things, and then we need services for them. So we either have service providers, or in the case we're talking with Secretary Carson, there's National Medical Corps and other folks that can come in to supplement some of the work that we're doing. So I'm confident that in the next, I hope, knock on wood, month or so, we'll be able to announce what the scale of that is. I've told people we won't overstate, but we won't understate. Right now, the two numbers you need to know are 150 and 133. 133 people being housed every day, 150 becoming homeless. So if we can just change that by 18, by preventing 18 people from becoming homeless or housing 18 more, we're on our way down, and I think the federal help could be that difference maker.
There's been a big push specifically for the city and the county about housing first, and I just put out a study yesterday that said that as recovery services have decreased and the focus on housing first has increased about 2% since 2014, that homelessness has gone up.
Yeah, no, I respectfully disagree. I mean, homelessness has gone down in the country because the solutions work of housing and services together. Sometimes people parody housing first as, oh, only housing. Nobody embraces only housing. It's got to be housing with services together. And I think the point that the new interagency coordinator, who I met with last Friday for the White House, is making, is that we have to continue to allow federal money to also go towards services. I completely agree, as long as you don't take away from housing dollars. And that was the problem 20 years ago. The reason that it's gone up nationally is because of tight housing markets in places like California. Otherwise, it's actually been quite successful. When people say, we don't know the answer to homelessness, I say, I actually have to call BS. We do know the answers. We just have to finally scale them up. And that's what this is about.
Last question.
Sure.
Yesterday, the governor talked about 286 state properties
Uh-huh.
that were available as of
Yes.
yesterday. Where are the spots?
I don't know. I'm anxious to get the list too. But I can say, for instance, in CD15, we're working with Caltrans property, right? That was state-owned. Is there any other state property in the Bridge Homes that we're using right now? I think that's the only one. I met the new Caltrans director yesterday, who Governor Newsom hired. I said, I want to have a meeting with you, and I want to go through, I think 90% of the homelessness people see are on off-ramps, on-ramps, and underpasses. And if we can focus in those places first, we can see the visible work that we're doing. Because sometimes if you're down 5% or 10%, which would be heroic in a year, people won't feel it. They're like, oh, it's 90% the same. So I am really glad that the governor, as I did with my general managers, is saying this is something to be owned by all of the directors of my state agencies now. So I don't have the list yet, but we know where some of those lands are. We've asked before. And like with the federal government, I'm confident we can build. But we need the money to build it too. So we'll be up there thanking the governor for $750 million he's proposing and trying to work with the legislature for more.
All right. Forgive me. I wanted to also mention, as the mayor just did, Meg Barkley, who at the city administrative officer's office has seen through all of our HHH projects and other projects, assembles the funding and helps to see us to accomplishment. So Meg, thank you very much for your role in this project and in all of the work that we're doing. And I also want to recognize the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department, who, as the mayor mentioned, too often are at the front edge of this issue, and they shouldn't be. This is not their job to provide social work and other things. It's their problem to fight crime. But they do that with professionalism and with sensitivity that sometimes is difficult to muster in the connections that they have with, or the interactions that they have with some of the people on the street. So I just want to thank Captain Ramirez and all the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department who are here and showing your support for this next great step forward that we're all taking. So thank you all very much.